My wife announced, "Your brother told me you were always the disappointment." I replied, "He would know." Then I let her find out my successful brother had been borrowing money from me for a decade. Her mortgage application with him as co-signer got denied real fast. Original post: I, 38 male, thought I had a decent marriage with Jessica, 35, until last week. We've been together 8 years, married for 5. No kids yet. She kept saying we needed to be more financially stable first. Turns out she had a very specific definition of stable that didn't include me. My brother Nate, 41M, has always been the golden child. MBA from a prestigious school, drives a Tesla, lives in a McMansion, constantly posting about his entrepreneur lifestyle on LinkedIn. Meanwhile, I'm a senior technician at a manufacturing plant. Good benefits, steady pay, but nothing flashy. Jessica's always had this weird fascination with Nate. At family dinners, she'd hang on his every word about his ventures and investments. I figured she was just being polite to family. My bad for being trusting, I guess. Last Tuesday, we're arguing about money again. She wants to upgrade to a bigger house. The 3rd time this year she's brought it up. I'm explaining that our current mortgage is comfortable, we're building savings, why rock the boat? That's when she dropped it. "Nate told me you were always the disappointment in the family. Maybe if you had his ambition, we wouldn't be stuck in this mediocre life." The room went dead silent. I stared at her for a good 10 seconds. "He would know about disappointment," I finally said. She rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, Ross. Your brother has everything. The success, the confidence, the lifestyle. What do you have? A lunch pail and a mortgage on a 3-bedroom ranch?" "I have something Nate doesn't," I said quietly. "What, your precious retirement fund?" She actually laughed. "No, I have my own money." She didn't understand what I meant. Why would she? I'd kept my mouth shut for a decade about the real situation, but hearing my own wife parrot my brother's words while dismissing our entire life together? Nah, done with that. See, here's what nobody knew except me, Nate, and my credit union. My successful brother has been borrowing money from me since 2014. Started small, $2,000 here for a cash flow issue, $5,000 there for an investment opportunity that couldn't wait. Every loan came with the same speech. Just need to move some assets around. Big deal closing next month. You know I'm good for it, bro. Current running total? $73,000. I've got every text, every email, every signed IOU, even recorded a few of our conversations, single-party consent state, perfectly legal. Not because I planned some grand revenge. I just knew my brother, and I knew I'd need proof when this house of cards eventually collapsed. But I didn't tell Jessica any of this. Not yet. Instead, I just said, "You should ask Nate to co-sign that mortgage application you've been filling out online." Her face lit up. "You know about that?" "Browser history exists, Jess. I'm not an idiot. Just disappointed you didn't talk to me first." She got defensive. "Well, you weren't interested in moving forward. Nate said he'd help if I needed a co-signer with better financials." I almost laughed. "Perfect. Go for it." She looked confused by my calm response. "You're okay with this? If Nate wants to help you get your dream house, who am I to stop him? The disappointment, remember?" That night, she slept in the guest room. I spent the evening organizing 10 years of loan documentation into a neat little folder. Then I did something I probably should have done years ago. I texted my brother. "Jessica wants you to co-sign a mortgage. I'm sure your excellent credit will be very helpful. BTW, my accountant says I need to report all outstanding loans for tax purposes this year. That $73 needs to be declared. Just FYI. His response was immediate. "We need to talk." "No, we don't. You talk to my wife about me instead. We're done talking." Update 1, 3 days later. Holy crap, this escalated quickly. So Nate tried calling me about 30 times. I didn't answer. He texted novels about how I was misunderstanding the situation and how family helps family without keeping score. Rich, coming from the guy who literally has a credit score too low to help anyone. Yeah, that's the other thing I didn't mention. I know Nate's actual credit score. How? Because 3 years ago, he asked me to co-sign a car loan for him. When I pulled his credit report, with his permission, it was 520. 520. All those LinkedIn posts about success? Fake it till you make it, I guess. Except he's been faking for a decade, and still hasn't made anything except debt. Jessica, meanwhile, was on cloud nine. She'd submitted the mortgage pre-approval application with Nate as co-signer. She was touring houses online, making Pinterest boards, talking about our fresh start. She even apologized for the argument, not for what she said, but for how it came out. Yesterday morning, she got the call from the mortgage broker. I was in the kitchen when her phone rang. Watched her face go from excited to confused to furious in about 60 seconds. What do you mean his credit is too low? There must be some mistake. He owns a Tesla. He has a house worth $800,000. I sipped my coffee and scrolled through my phone. She hung up and immediately called Nate. He didn't answer. She tried 4 more times. Nothing. Ross, something's wrong with the mortgage application. They're saying Nate's credit it can't be right. What did they say exactly? They said his score is below 550 and he has multiple defaulted loans. But that's impossible. You've seen his house? The one he's been renting for 8 years? Her face went pale. What? Jessica, Nate doesn't own that house. He doesn't own the Tesla either. It's leased. Probably behind on those payments too, knowing him. You're lying. You're just jealous and making things up. I pulled out my phone and showed her a screenshot from the property tax website showing the actual owner of Nate's house, some investment company. Then I showed her the Tesla lease documents he'd sent me when he borrowed $5,000 for the down payment. She sat down hard. But he says a lot of things. That's when the doorbell rang. It was Nate, looking like he hadn't slept in days. We need to talk, he said, pushing past me. Jessica jumped up. Nate, what's going on? The mortgage company says. Jess, can you give us a minute? He said without looking at her. No, I said. She should hear this. After all, I'm just the disappointment, right? Nate's jaw clenched. I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it then when you were telling wife how unambitious I am, while you were borrowing money from me? Jessica's head whipped between us. Borrowing money? I pulled out the folder I'd prepared. $73,000 over 10 years. Here's every loan, every text begging for money, every broken promise to pay it back. I started reading. January 2014, $2,000 for client dinner that will seal the deal. Never paid back. March 2014, $3,500 for licensing fees for new venture. Never paid back. September 2014, $5,000 for bridging loan until commission clears. Never paid back. Stop, Nate said. Oh, I'm just getting started. Should I skip to 2019 when you needed $15,000 for that sure thing investment that would set us both up for life? Or maybe 2021 when your business partner screwed you over and you needed $20,000 to keep the doors open? Jessica was staring at the papers. 73,000? From the disappointment, I said. The one with no ambition, the one who packed his lunch instead of eating out every day, the one who drove a paid-off Honda instead of leasing luxury cars he couldn't afford. Nate tried damage control. I'm gonna pay it all back. The market's been tough, but I've got deals in the pipeline. No, I cut him off. You're not. Because those deals don't exist. They never existed. You've been running a 10-year con, and I enabled it by keeping quiet. But talking trash about me to my wife while taking my money? We're done. I turned to Jessica. The mortgage company ran his credit. What did they find? She whispered, 520 credit score, multiple defaults, 2 judgments against him. But tell me more about his success and ambition. Update 2, 1 week later. The aftermath has been intense. After Nate left that day, slinking out like a kicked dog, Jessica and I had our first honest conversation in years. Turns out, she'd been talking to Nate about our finances for months. He'd convinced her I was thinking too small and that she deserved better. The kicker? He'd offered to go into business with her. Some app idea that would revolutionize something or other. All she needed to do was invest $50,000, which she could easily get from the equity in our house if we refinanced. Were you seriously going to refinance our house without telling me? I asked. She couldn't meet my eyes. He said you'd never understand, that you were too risk-averse to see the opportunity. Jessica, there was no opportunity. There never is with Nate. He was going to take that money and disappear into another failed venture. She started crying then. Not the manipulative tears I'd seen before, but actual ugly crying. I'm such an idiot. I wanted more. The house, the cars, the whole lifestyle, and he made it seem so possible. By lying. He was so convincing. All those stories about deals and investments, all funded by me, the disappointment. That hit home. She flinched. The next few days were rough. Jessica moved in with her sister while we figured things out. I got texts from various family members as the news spread. My mom called, devastated that her successful son had been lying to everyone. My dad just said, "I figured something was off when he kept borrowing your truck despite having that Tesla." But the real drama came yesterday. I got served with legal papers. Nate is actually suing me for defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. His claim that by revealing his debts to Jessica, I maliciously sabotaged his business opportunities and damaged his professional reputation. I actually laughed when I read it. His lawyer, probably some bargain basement attorney working for a future promised payment, even claimed I had a fiduciary duty to keep his financial matters private. My response was simple. I hired an actual lawyer, with money I actually have, and countersued for the $73,000 plus interest. My lawyer says Nate's case is garbage and will likely be dismissed, while mine is ironclad with all the documentation. But here's where it gets really wild. Jessica called me last night. "Ross, I got a call from Victoria." Victoria is Nate's ex-wife who divorced him 5 years ago. She saw the mortgage denial on my Facebook before I deleted it. She wants to meet with both of us. We met Victoria for coffee this morning. Turns out she's been keeping receipts too. Not just financial, everything. The affairs, the lies, the secret credit cards in her name. The reason she divorced him wasn't just the cheating. He'd taken out $200,000 in loans using their house as collateral without telling her. She only found out when the foreclosure notices started arriving. "I tried to warn you at that family barbecue 2 years ago," she told me. But Nate had already painted me as the bitter ex who was trying to ruin his life. What did he tell everyone? That I was crazy, jealous of his success, that I couldn't handle him leveling up in life. Sound familiar? Jessica went pale. Those were almost the exact words Nate had used about me. Victoria pulled out her phone. "I've got recordings, legal ones, including him admitting he targeted Jessica specifically because she was, quote, unsatisfied enough to be useful." Jessica looked sick. Useful for what? For getting to Ross's money. He knew Ross would never give him another large loan directly. But if he refinanced the house, I put the pieces together, he'd get his hands on that $50,000 investment. Bingo. He was already shopping for flights to Costa Rica, one way. Update 3. 2 weeks later. Everything came crashing down spectacularly. Nate's lawsuit against me was dismissed immediately. The judge literally said, "You can't sue someone for telling the truth about money you owe them," and warned Nate's lawyer about filing frivolous suits. My countersuit is moving forward. My lawyer is confident we'll get a judgment, though collecting will be another story. Can't squeeze blood from a stone, but at least I'll have legal documentation that he owes me. But the real bombshell came from an unexpected source. Remember that Tesla he leases? Well, it got repossessed from our parents' driveway. During their anniversary party, in front of everyone. The repo guy wasn't subtle either. He loudly asked for Nathan Richardson, who's 4 months behind on payments, while Nate was mid-speech about family values and supporting each other. The extended family group chat exploded. Cousins, aunts, uncles, everyone started sharing their own Nate borrowed money stories. Turns out I wasn't his only mark, just his biggest. The family total? Over $200,000. My cousin Damien, $5,000 for a medical emergency that turned out to be a Vegas trip. My Aunt Ruth, $8,000 for a business license that never existed. My Uncle Tony, $15,000 for a bridge loan that's been bridging for 6 years. The list went on. Everyone had kept quiet out of embarrassment or family loyalty. But once the dam broke, it all came flooding out. Nate tried damage control. Posted this long, rambling Facebook post about how he's been struggling with addiction. To what? Lying? And needs support, not judgment, during his healing journey. My personal favorite line: success isn't measured in dollars but in the courage to take risks. My Uncle Tony commented, "Risk? With other people's money?" The post was deleted within an hour. As for Jessica and me, it's complicated. She moved back home 3 days ago, but we're sleeping separately. We're in counseling, both individual and couples. The therapist's first question to her was brutal. Why did you believe a man you barely knew over your husband of 5 years? Her answer hurt, because Nate was everything I thought I wanted Ross to be. And now I realize Ross is everything Nate pretended to be. Actually successful, actually stable, actually trustworthy. It's not an instant fix. Trust is shattered, but we're working on it. She's shown me all her emails with Nate, including ones where she defended me and he systematically broke down her confidence in our marriage. It doesn't excuse her actions, but it does show how manipulative he was. She also signed a post-nuptial agreement giving me full control of our finances for the next 2 years while we rebuild trust. Her idea, not mine. She said she needs to prove she won't be influenced by anyone else again. The best or worst part? Nate's house of cards completely collapsed. His landlord evicted him for non-payment. His business partners are suing him. The IRS is investigating him for tax fraud. Apparently, he's been writing off personal expenses as business ones for years. He moved back in with our parents, who made him get a job. A real one. He's now working at a call center, making $17 an hour, the same hourly rate I made when I started as a technician 15 years ago. He texted me yesterday, "I hope you're happy. You destroyed my life." I responded, "No, I just stopped funding your fake one." Final update 1 month later. This will be my last update because frankly, I'm tired of thinking about this whole mess, but figured I'd give you all closure. The legal stuff is grinding forward slowly. My lawyer got a judgment against Nate for the full $73,000 plus interest and legal fees. Total judgment, $84,500. Will I ever see that money? Probably not. But I can garnish his wages for the next 20 years if needed, and the judgment will tank whatever's left of his credit. Victoria, Nate's ex, and I have become unlikely friends through this. She sent me something interesting last week, screenshots from a dating app where Nate is presenting himself as a successful entrepreneur, temporarily relocating for a new venture. Some people never learn. My parents are devastated, but finally seeing reality. My mom admitted she always wondered how Nate afforded his lifestyle but didn't want to ask. My dad's response was more direct. I raised 2 sons. One who works for his money and one who works people for theirs. Guess I know which one actually listened. They've cut Nate off financially. He's paying them rent now, $600 a month for his childhood bedroom, and has to be home by 10 p.m. or the door gets locked. He's 41 years old with a curfew. The extended family has basically excommunicated him. He wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. When he complained on the family group chat, my cousin posted the spreadsheet of everything he owes everyone. That shut him up quick. As for my marriage, we're surviving. Not thriving yet, but surviving. Counseling has been brutal, but necessary. Jessica had to confront some hard truths about herself. Mainly that she was so focused on appearing successful that she forgot to appreciate actual success. The therapist called it Facebook envy reality distortion, or something like that. She wrote me a letter last week. Not gonna share all of it, but one line stuck with me. I wanted the life Nate was pretending to have, not realizing I already had the life he was desperately trying to borrow. We're selling the house, not because we need to, but because it's poisoned now. Too many memories of arguments about upgrading in her secret mortgage applications. We're moving to a smaller place closer to my work. She's taking over the bills management to understand exactly where our money goes each month. The irony? Without the pressure of keeping up appearances, we're actually saving more money. Jessica canceled all those subscription boxes she never used, stopped buying designer clothes she wore once, and learned to cook instead of ordering takeout constantly. We saved $2,000 last month alone. She got a promotion at work too. Turns out when you stop spending your lunch breaks scrolling through Nate's fake success posts and focus on your actual job, good things happen. Last week, something petty but satisfying happened. We ran into Nate at the grocery store. He was buying generic brand everything with coupons while we were picking up steaks for dinner. The look on his face when Jessica said, "Oh hey Nate, Ross, should we get the ribeye or the filet?" was priceless. He tried to save face, just teaching myself to live simply. Minimalism is very in right now. Is that why you got evicted? Jessica asked sweetly. He abandoned his cart and left. Later, Jessica said, I can't believe I fell for his act. Manipulation is powerful, I told her, but you see through it now. Yeah, I do. The disappointment turned out to be the real success story. We're not perfect. We're not goals or whatever social media calls it. We're just two people trying to rebuild after one of us lost sight of what mattered. Some days are good, some are hard, but they're real. No fake LinkedIn posts, no borrowed money, no lies. And honestly, that's enough. Oh, one last thing. Nate sent me a business proposal last week. Some crypto thing where if I invested $10,000 I'd definitely make it back times 10. I forwarded it to the family group chat with crying laughing emojis. He left the chat. Good riddance. Edit. Since someone asked, yes, I kept my job at the manufacturing plant. Got promoted to senior technician supervisor last month. $87K a year, full benefits, pension, and I actually know where my next paycheck is coming from. Turns out being a disappointment pays